here we are. And as you know, my great uncle who recently died, of which I didn't even know I had one, is giving me this castle in agreements with his will. And all we have to do is spend one night in here to get it.
Mr. Code, maybe we should reconsider. It's old, decrepit, and creepy.
Yeah, so are you, but you don't see me complaining.
Gee, thanks.
Don't worry, Judge, nothing could possibly happen. Everything's gonna be just fine.
The next day.
See, Judge, it's a bright and beautiful day.
I'll admit, I did have quite a wonderful sleep.
See? Everything is fine and we encounter no negative entities or consequences. I do so love it when everything just goes your way and nothing bad happens. Objection! Hello, every pony! Nightmare Night is upon us, and what better way to celebrate than to discuss the Scare Master? In the previous Nightmare Night episode, Luna was the main focus, with her coming to terms of how every pony sees their princess at the night, and eventually being accepted amongst her peers since her return as Nightmare Moon. This time, Fluttershy takes the spotlight with her dealing with her least favorite night of the year. The timid Pegasus has faced down many creatures from manticores to giant dragons, Cerberus, and the Spirit of Chaos, just to name a few. However, a night of frivolity themed after Nightmare Moon causes her to become a complete shut-in. Actually, it's not that far-fetched. Let's take a look at Dragonshy. Fluttershy is constantly afraid of encountering such a large dragon, yet when her friends are in danger, she asserts herself, pushing aside her anxieties to stop the threat from hurting her friends. So perhaps since Nightmare Night is a holiday where scaring every pony is encouraged, it's harder for Fluttershy to trust any pony, as the normally nice citizens of the town now actively embrace the act of frightening others, putting on an act of deception. We clearly see Fluttershy is scared of her friends and even kids, so it seems like a rather plausible theory. But we've set this up for long enough, so let's dive into the episode actual. Fluttershy is all ready for a nice quiet night in her cottage when Jerk Bunny demands food, forcing her out into the town. One of the best aspects I can say for the episode is the atmosphere. Like Lunar Eclipse, the atmosphere of the town contains awesome spookiness, from the decorations to the costumes and even the lighting, and many of the scenes really hammer home the look of a horror-themed episode. Spike had a great little moment in this episode as well. He can often be good at giving advice and helping others see reason in their doubts. He understands her fears and concerns, but lets her know that her friends legit miss her on this night and wish she could join them as well. This is some simple but great character building for Fluttershy, as she's stepping outside her comfort zone to join in festivities she's normally weary about. Though she's still nervous, she's willing to try for her friend's sake, which is the central theme of the story.
Try everything.
With a nice callback to Philly Vanilli, Fluttershy compares this current venture to her eventually gaining the courage to sing in front of others. She realized that it was intimidating at first, but found that she ultimately enjoyed it. So logically, she believes that she can also accomplish the same thing here. And I like how the rest of the girls are supportive with her endeavors and don't push her too hard. Well, most of the girls.
I've decided to join you in your Nightmare Night festivities.
Seriously? You? Out? Tonight?
What an asshole!
Rainbow being rainbow, whatever. Overall, I must say the first act is pretty solid.
I'll get you, crazy kids!
Sweetie Belle, why would you TP your own sister's tree? Moving on, now the second act is where the story begins to falter. We see the Yellow Pegasus attempt to join in various activities, but her anxiety overcomes her and ends up ruining everyone else's fun. I get we need to show working with the timid Pegasus is going to be difficult on such a night, but the story pulls the drag chute and the whole thing is just awkward and hard to watch. In Luna Eclipsed, Luna kept facing some type of adversity, but it felt organic and was still enjoyable because of her misunderstandings of modern customs. Sure, Pinky kind of instilled the fear factor in every pony, prolonging the solution, but it was still funny and each interaction with the main six was unique and enjoyable. Here, the pacing is much slower, with Fluttershy coming off as a wet blanket, ruining everybody else's fun, and it's not entertaining at all. And this concept can actually work. Take the costume scene, for example. Instead of just a plain dress that won't actually cause any negative effects towards Fluttershy, have her just mix together a bizarre hodgepodge of items that would make her appear all armored up and safe, kind of like her outfit in Dragonshy. It would seem practical to her, but hilarious to the audience, only to realize her costume is far too big to fit out the door, and then goes with something more simplistic. She could cut open eye hole slits in the blindfold during the pin the tail on Nightmare Moon, bob an apple on a plate, or Fluttershy bringing her own candy instead of taking Pinky's. And yes, I know all of Fluttershy's concerns during each activity foreshadow what happens later in the maze. However, there's a difference between setting up future elements for the sake of the plot and entertaining your audience. Twilight comes up with the unconventional solution of having Fluttershy scare every pony else.
Her scaring us?
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
She's still willing to give it a shot, as she's still willing to try out this night for her friends. The actual progression of her character continues to build well into the theme and shows she's willing to step beyond her station, all to join in fun times with her friends. Later at the cottage, Fluttershy has already got some creepy decorations. In particular, this swinging birdhouse is so scary that the movement of the entrance hole is out of sync with the rest of the house's swing motion.
Now that's just terrifying.
Indeed it is.
What are those?
They're unplanned guests. Your worst nightmare.
Huh, I never took Fluttershy for an otaku. Anyway, once again, the scene of Fluttershy being scared here is not really that funny, and it's just awkward and slow. Let's compare this to something a little different, but something executed much better.
And first up on our tour, if you look to your right, experience the fury of a big rock that's going to fall on us. That was a close call.
The scene's comedy comes from the fact that 1. The experience is cheaply made, 2. Homestar's an idiot, 3. Props are cheap, and 4. Strong Bad's monotone delivery makes the quote-unquote adventure that much more hilarious. Fluttershy's attempt at horrors can be made just as funny. Have her tell her friends to experience the horrors of bats, and it's just her birds with poorly made bat costumes. Or experience the horrors of hundreds of eyes watching you, and it's clearly just eyeballs on marshmallows, which Pinkie Pie would then eat. Or even pull the happening and be like, oh no, look out for the wind. Ooh.
What? No.
Fluttershy is ultimately distraught and lets her friends go, not to hamper their fun, but decides to take one last shot in the cornfield. Aha! It was old Stallion Big Mac. He tried to scare away the local kids so he could make it big selling his corn. Mystery solved, gang. Let's go home.
Mr. Code, the review?
Huh? Oh yeah. Anyway, the third act is where the story picks up, as the whole maze sequence instills so much energy that the second act was lacking. The chase sequence is exciting, the creepy visuals and the environment look amazing, and we got to see the return of Flutterbat. Wait, how does an underground tunnel under the corn maze lead to a cliff face now looking over the maze? Whatever. It's still a great scene and it didn't detract from the fun. And though Fluttershy was successful, she ultimately feels guilty despite her friends' enjoyment.
You all may love Nightmare Night, and I may be good at being a part of it, but it's no fun for me to see my friends feel like they're in danger, even if I know they're not. I really don't like it.
It's here where we see the central theme of the episode finally realized. First off, as long as something is safe, you should try it at least once despite apprehension, as you may realize you like it. If you don't, that's fine as well. As, like Fluttershy says,
It's just not my cup of tea.
the second thing we can take away from this is that it's actually kind of an allegory for being a brony. When others hear of adults liking this children's show, many question or even show disgust of how such a thing is possible. However, some are willing to try, and whether or not they like the show, they gave it a shot. Fluttershy went beyond her station to enjoy a holiday with her friends, but ultimately realized she dislikes upsetting her friends and decides to forego any future outings on Nightmare Night. These are great lessons to help others get into new, fascinating hobbies, or at least attempt them to say they tried it. Overall, despite the negatives of the second act, I still think this is a good episode. Fluttershy's characterization was great, I love the scary atmosphere, and some great themes to go along with a good story. Isn't that right, Judge? Judge? Huh. I wonder where... Oh, crap.